Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to the channel, and really appreciate you guys coming by and checking out today's video and spending some time with me. And guys, it's that time of month, first part of the month. We're going to be talking about some of my favorite lures and techniques for the month of October in bass fishing. And I'm really happy to do this because to me, it's like when we get into October, we're starting to turn the corner a little bit. You know, August and September, I think, are the two toughest months of fishing out of the 12 months out of the year. But once October rolls around, things start changing, things start moving a little bit, and fishing actually starts to pick up. In fact, October and November are probably two of my favorite months to fish. I mean, two of the Bassmaster top 150s I've won, both of them came in October. Love fishing this time of year. And I've got 5 or 6 of my favorite baits and techniques that I want to show you guys in today's video, and hopefully it'll help you guys catch some good fish over the next 3 or 4 weeks there. I'm also, guys, a couple quick housekeeping tips I'd like to remind you guys of that you love to endure every video here. Please check out, guys, that we got the end of summer sale still going on my Solar Bat Signature Series sunglasses. This is my RB3 frames right here. It's got the flat gray finish on it to reduce the glare. 30% off right now, including you get a free hard case with the purchase of my glasses. And if you use the promo code RandyB, capital R, capital B, free shipping and handling. And one final thing, guys, please check out my fall and winter Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns. Guys, these are maps that I built for fishthemoment.com. They're great resources to get some good fishing places on your favorite lake or lake you've never seen before. You can download these GPS units straight to your depth finder, go right to the spots, shows you how to fish them, tells you guys how to fish the spots. So it's really good info. Everything's in the description here, so appreciate that. Okay, guys, I want to go over these baits, and then I want to talk a little bit, speak a little bit to the October fish and what you need to look for. October, one of the reasons I like it, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of different options. It's like you can catch bass in the month of October, depending upon your water clarity, anywhere between 2 foot of water down into 50 or 60 feet of water, on the bottom, suspended. Fish are all over the place in October, again, based upon the number one most important variable, and that is water clarity. And another reason that fishing is pretty good this time of year is that you started to see a transition a little bit as far as a lot of different changes occur environmentally. Sunlight hours are getting shorter, sun is at a different angle in the sky, water temperatures are starting to fall, air temperatures are starting to fall. A lot of this stuff contributes to this change, which is usually positive, puts the fish in a little bit more of a feeding mode. So, okay, let's talk about some of my favorite baits here and how I like to fish them. Probably, guys, one of my favorite baits in the fall time of the year, October, is a spinnerbait. Small spinnerbait. This is my Megabass SD3 spinnerbait here. I will link every one of these lures in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video if you want to pick one up. But guys, a little finesse spinnerbait like this SD3 here, this is an excellent bait in October and into November. And what you want to do is you want to fish it on days that are cloudy and windy. This is the time that you want to fish this. Or if you don't have a cloudy, windy day, right off the bat in the morning when there's still shade on the water. Take this thing, just get out on any steep bank, any bluff bank, channel bank, secondary or main lake point, you know, it's got some rocky or clay or gravel on it, and burn this thing with a fast retrieve about that far into the surface. Keep your rod tip high, just almost wake it. You don't necessarily want to break the blades, but just barely under the surface. And guys, on those low light days, if you have a lake that has water visibility of over 3 feet, it's some of the funnest fishing you'll ever have, but little finesse spinnerbait like this. Okay, the next thing in line with that is Topwater is a really good bait in October. In fact, Topwater in October and November are probably some of the 2 best months. My favorite Topwater for October is a walking Topwater. Like this is the Megabass Diamante, Spook, anything like that. A walking Topwater is outstanding in the month of October, and it's a bait that you can catch fish on it all day long. You know, obviously, like any Topwater, it's going to work better in lower light conditions. But in October, especially when that water temperature starts to get down into the upper 60s or low 70s, you can catch them on a walking Topwater all day long and just fish it around whatever, you know, available cover you have in your lake. You know, just down the banks on points are good. You know, bluff banks on the outside of a grass edge. Throw it up next to a boat dock. Walking Topwater is outstanding for this time of year. Okay, the next one, guys, this is sort of a sleeper. A lot of people don't know this. In fact, this is the bait I caught my limit on the last day of the Toyota Series last week at Lake of the Ozarks is this big jerkbait, this big megabass Canada. It's a 7-inch long jerkbait, big giant jerkbait. Again, I'll have this linked in the description of the video. Guys, take this Canada, big giant jerkbait like this, put it on some type of a medium action, 6'11" bait cast rod, 15-pound test fluorocarbon line, and jerk this thing down steep banks, especially bluff banks. If you have a bluff bank that has water visibility over 3 or 4 foot clarity, get out there on some type of a day that's got a little breeze on it. Low light's going to be better, and just jerk this thing down with just, you don't have to stop it. It's not like jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, jerk, pause. You want to work it pretty fast, like boom, 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 boom. Get the thing really darting around the water. And guys, they will hammer this thing in the month of October. I caught them on it around boat docks at Lake of the Ozarks last week, but that thing is freaking awesome out there. I've caught a ton of fish on it. Oh, hit the camera right here. Okay, guys, the next one is October. If you've never fished it before and you want to try them, October is probably the #1 month of the year to fish a glide bait in. Glide baits are all over the market. Again, I'll link some of my favorites in the description here, but a glide bait that is like over 6 inches long. This one here is probably 7 or 8 inches long. Any type of a glide bait like this in October is a really, really good time of year to fish it. Now, like a lot of the techniques we're talking about here where you're dealing with a reaction lure that goes horizontal through the water column, it helps if you have wind and low light conditions. A glide bait, not so much the low light conditions. I prefer it in low light conditions, but you do need to have some wind. You're gonna have a tough time catching bass on a big glide bait unless you got some wind. And like a lot of the techniques we're talking about here, guys, I like the vertical structures for a glide bait. Paralleling steep banks with it, paralleling bluff banks, fishing it on points, fishing it next to bridge piers, fishing it next to boat docks, anything like that, with a more vertical structure. Really, really good way to catch them. And two things, let me give you 2 tips on the glide bait here. When you reel a glide bait through the water, they all run like this when you just reel them straight through the water. Try using a subtle, like a twitch, like boom, 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 with your glide bait. So what'll have, instead of this uniform like that, it'll go boom like that, and it'll glide, and then you jerk it, and it goes boom back harder to the side. It gives a little bit more of an erratic action. And if you see a fish follow your glide bait, which you do a lot, speed it up. Try to get the bait away from the fish. A lot of times that'll generate a strike when they won't hit it if they get too good of a look at it. You never want a bass to get too good of a look at a glide bait. It's too big, it telegraphs itself, so try to keep it moving faster. And finally, guys, the only non-reaction bait I'm talking about in my top 5 here, full-size jig. This is my Blaukat Throwback jig from Cumberland Pro Lures. Both of the Bassmaster tournaments that I've won in October have come on a jig. The jig is an excellent lure, a big full-size jig, finesse jigs too, but a big full-size jig like this, excellent lure in the month of October. Again, if you have the right conditions. The right conditions for a jig in the month of October is you need to have some shallow cover that's in less than 4 foot of water, and usually water visibility that's less than 3 foot in clarity. Low light days, you might be able to catch them on a jig if it's a little bit clearer than that, but ideally for the jig fishing, I want 1 to 2 foot of visibility is perfect. And you don't have to really get real specific about it, because this thing works around any cover that your lake has. If you got lily pads or grass or cattails, it's gonna work. If you got docks, it's gonna work. If you got lay down trees, it's gonna work. If you got rocky banks, just a really, really good, bait for that time of year. Black and blue and black and chartreuse are my 2 favorites. Unless the water is really clear, then I'm gonna be going to some type of a brown. But anyway, guys, that's a few tips and advice for October fishing, some of my favorite baits there. Again, I'll link every one of these in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. And thank you guys very much for following the channel. Really appreciate your support. A big thank you from me and my family. We really never take that for granted. So talk later.